Have you found kind of from a automation, a rev ops, I mean, we all love numbers. Like in the board, they love to see numbers and dashboards and KPIs, you know? So how do we reflect this in the KPIs, the dashboards that we track inside of our companies?
Yeah, I mean, so I guess I'll start with this, that it's also funny as a marketer is that you spend all this time learning how to talk marketing and talk to marketers and then, get them on board to lead a marketing function and become an expert. And then at some point you realize that it's actually about the business and how you communicate value in a language the C-suite and sales understands. So, for instance, marketing loves to talk about leads and volume and quality of marketing qualified leads. And, that's great. But if those leads don't turn into meetings, that turn into opportunities, that turn into closed one, the C-level kind of, they won't give you that seat at the table. They won't respect you or the discipline of marketing. And vice versa, if you can't put a monetary value and formula for how long-term brand investments will enable shorter sales cycles or lessen SDR costs or give higher opportunity values, and how that ties into revenues and earnings. And if you can't do this in a language, that the finance team understands, you won't get through. But marketers have a lot of metrics and we like to use a lot of them. Many of them I feel like are vanity and a means to an end and something we think matters, but we need to know our audience. So for example, when I was on the agency side, I felt like it was even more difficult on the agency side because you often didn't have access to drill down to the business and dissect where the pipeline, where the leaks were happening. So now that I'm on the in-house side and I get to have that 360 vision, it's more about having the metrics in place. And then I have to make sure I really use to create metrics that drive that internal alignment.
So what's an example of a KPI metric, right? That is a non-traditional marketing metric that is a business metric that you influence and how you track it?
I'm sure, you guys in the States do this a lot, but I'm pretty sure in Finland we don't, is that we don't look at the kind of quality of conversations happening with clients. So for example, shorter sales cycles, customers are more likely to be shortlisting us. They're more likely to be interested in us or picking up the call if we have a better brand or we communicate the right things kind of before the sales reaches out. So there's a lot of metrics that are business valid, but marketing doesn't tend to follow because we're interested in the impressions and MQLs, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do when you start thinking about, where does marketing really add value and what kind of metrics could it affect for?